perhaps some of these tenants that you've had have been with you since high school. Perhaps some of these tenants that you're giving free rent to between your 2 years, perhaps they just kicked in 5 years ago. This is an invitation to evict. We have just entered a new year of life. Yay! We're still wearing your suit. This is so exciting. We have a new gift of life. Just to give you a little expanded version on an assumption that I had in my own life that kind of had a lot of ramifications to it is I have practiced martial arts for about 17 years. I practiced for the Colorado State Championship, and when I came to the day of the Colorado State Championship, I found myself in the ring with my opponent. And I was practicing 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, so that I could anchor skill sets so they were on autopilot when I was in the ring. It's so interesting how we do that in certain categories of our life. We're so dedicated to expand and anchor the skill sets. And then there's other areas that we just show up and literally our lights are knocked out. Someone will say something. Maybe it's just a roll of the eyes. Maybe someone's in a halt when we're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or sick. And then we make an assumption, we start mind reading, and we're literally knocked out in the ring. And so because I had trained my body for 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, I made the assumption that I was invincible when it came to my health. I literally, guilty. I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I ate very little sugar. That's why my big joke is if you're looking for me in heaven, I'm going to be bellied up to the dessert bar, just pounding the desserts I said no to. I had skill sets and behavior patterns that I had in place that led to an assumption that my body would not betray me. So in 2006, when I got a phone call that said, "Are you sitting down?" And I learned that I was going to be fighting for my life. At 38 years old, 1 week prior to my final divorce court date, my children were 10, 12, 8, 10, and 12 at the time. And it was literally 1 week prior to my final divorce court date, and I had an assumption that I would not be in that situation. Has anyone in this room ever had an assumption that you would not be in a certain situation, and then shazam, there you are, in the midst of that situation? We can all pause and pull from our timeline those moments that popped up. So in less than a 2-year period of time, as I was making some really conscious choice points of not giving power outside of me to the circumstance. The definition of stress that you'll often hear me talk about, and I remind myself of this daily, is stress is the power I give, to the diagnosis. I'm going to be fighting for my life? What does that mean? If I were to sit down with each one of you today, I would venture to guess that perhaps there was something that happened to you, or we too often will make the assumption that it's to us, but a circumstance you were moving through, that's a good reframe. This week, you weren't expecting it, and maybe you didn't show up with the best version of you. Is that perhaps something like that happened? Not the best version of you. Perhaps you were hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or sick in the halt. And we have those situations. Our training outside the ring is so essential so that we can utilize and expand our skill set when we're facing our opponent.